Hello, everybody. Welcome. We are very glad, excited to have you today. Let's give it a few minutes for viewers to join. Good. I see people trickling in. Please share the link, share and invite as many people as you can. This is very vital information we're going to be sharing. Be generous, be generous. Share it, share the link, please. If you're on Facebook, go ahead and share. We're begging on you. If you're on YouTube, share, please. Get more viewers to come on. We're going to be sharing some very interesting information today. I'm going to be having an amazing guest on this in the studio with me, just talking a little bit about its journey, its life. And I know everyone who is going to be online will be able to see themselves being able to also drive up in that capability. Please keep inviting, keep sharing. We need people. Let's get a few more eyeballs. Let's get a few more ears to be listening. I brought this guy. He's an African-born gentleman. He's a chief technology officer of a top IT consulting and training institute and company. He'll be sharing with you in the most transparent way possible how he came, how he got to where he is today. One of the things I always tell people once they join online or in every interaction I have with people as I get along, when I look at my own life, I look at my own story and I look at how far I came and where I am today. I told myself, anybody who has ears, anybody who can hear, if you cannot hear, I'll get a translator, but I will speak the message, I'll speak the story because there is something going on and people need to pay attention to that. There is a revolution happening, and this revolution requires very little cost from our end. I'm talking about the human cost, I'm talking about the financial cost, I'm just talking about commitment cost, right? There is a great revolution going on, which is leveling the playing field like it's never been done before. Things are changing rapidly. Young people, middle-aged people, mid-career people, whether you're at the end of your career, feel free, join in, all right? And you're going to see exactly what we're talking about here. Okay, so you're all welcome. We're glad to have you on the line. And share, please share this link. We need to have more people on the line and we can get started with the program. So, for you who are on the line, we're glad to have you. Welcome. My name is Gustav Achu. I'm an inspirational keynote speaker. I'm a success coach. I also am an IT professional. One of the things I wake up in the morning every day, I dream about, I talk about, I get motivated about is just to help people be able to get to where some of us have seen, right? I work in the IT industry today, and to be honest with anybody on the line, there is a revolution going on. That's the new goal mine, and I've committed to myself that I'll share the information till I drop dead. Everybody who breathes, who can think, who can see, who can talk, is capable of finding a space in the IT industry. So this afternoon we're going to be having 30 minutes, right? It's a 30 minutes jam program. It's going to be interesting. I have somebody I invited. This gentleman is an IT professional, but not only that, he is one of the best IT professionals I've ever met in my life. He originates from Cameroon. He came to the US just like some people watching online today. He's an immigrant. He came here and he changed the story. And I just invited him to come and share some of words of wisdom, right? I just wanted to bring him on so that he could share with you some of his experience. We have in the studio today, he's not only an Oracle database administrator, he also doubles as the chief technology officer for Icon IT, one of the top consulting and empowerment companies in the IT industry you can find today. Mr. Mofo, can you hear me?
I can hear you loud and clear. Can
Oh,
you hear me?
wonderful, wonderful. Can everyone help welcome Mr. Mofo for me? If you're on Facebook, if you're on Instagram, if you're watching us from YouTube, go ahead and like our page, subscribe to our page, please. Share this link, share so we get more people coming on. And if you hear me very well, please can you type in the message box? I hear you. Can you type in the message box? I hear you. If you can hear me clearly, please. Let's have that. So wonderful. Let's also welcome Mr. Mufo with drum rolls wherever you are. It's always a great plumping pleasure to have him on the show, to have him share his ideas, to have him share, his journey. This is one of the most transparent people I know. This gentleman will tell you everything he knows. His only goal is to just help people become successful, right? We live in a time today when opportunities are plenty. We live in a time today, just like you and me. I remember when I was much younger and I came to America, I always looked at people working in the IT industry as some kind of geniuses, right? They always had the glasses on, they were looking serious. And when I got into the industry 10 years ago, I realized it was just they were just regular people like everybody else. I mean, when I talk about myself, I was always somewhere in the bottom half of the class. I'm not a genius. I'll be transparent. I'm not the smartest guy in the block. I just realized joining the industry that if you're hungry enough, if you just want it bad enough, you can have a piece of that cake. And our job, our goal, our desire is to go past your minds today and get straight into your heart. So join me, welcome Mr. ATSOH MOFOR, the CTO of Icon IT. Mr. MOFOR, how are you?
I'm doing fantastic today. An awesome day to be alive, Mr. Gustav. Thank
Absolutely,
you for having me.
absolutely. Wonderful. We are very, very glad to have you. I know we only have 30 minutes today. I've already used about 4 minutes in welcoming people. We have 12 guests on the line, and I want each of them to take something valuable out of you. So just to get going out of the door, tell me a little bit about your journey. I know you've been in America about 9 years. You used to be a manager for a brewery distribution system back in your home country of Cameroon. When you came to the US, I know you walked through some different paths before getting to the place where you are today at the top of the industry, in the top 8% of America, as a CTO of a private company and also as a technology manager for a lot of great companies. So tell me a little bit about your story.
Well, thank you, Mr. Gustav, again once more for having me on this renowned platform. It is an honor for me and for whatever I represent, especially Icon IT Consulting, to get a chance to come upon your platform and kind of share my story. Hopefully it might, impact someone. We might, be able to find some people who have similar stories and motivate them because that's our role out here as mentors, to be able to motivate them in order to rethink what their journey is going to be. And for what concerns me, aside the experiences I had back home in Cameroon, when I came to the United States 14 years ago, I started my journey normally, as a lot of us do. There is always that saying that whoever picks you up at the airport, more than likely, you are going to start off doing what they are doing. So I did follow the regular route. I would say regular route because I believe more than 80% of immigrants that come from my country, Cameroon, do follow that route. So I started off in healthcare, of course, starting off as a nursing assistant, working my way up to a registered nurse. I worked for one of the bigger health systems here in the Minnesota, Alina Health. And I worked as a critical care nurse. But the ambitious me, and the me that knows myself, I took a look at that career and I said, there has to be something bigger than this. And when I kept looking for information, I love computers. And that may not speak to so many people. Everybody, we're living in an era right now where technology is one of those things that you will not
Absolutely.
avoid.
Absolutely.
You will certainly be caught in systems where you have to go above and beyond just sending emails or checking your social media. You will be caught in systems that would need you to have some knowledge fundamentally on computer systems. So in order to drive my career to the next level, I went into nursing informatics. And I don't know how many people are familiar with that. That is maybe the nursing away from the bedside, using systems in order to improve healthcare. Let's just keep it at that summary. But that wasn't challenging enough for me. I have a wife and 3 kids. And working as a nurse, my wife also was a nurse at the time. We had to juggle schedules. And growing in America, you leave at 7 in the morning, your kids are asleep, and you return at 8 o'clock at night, and your kids are 30 minutes away from going to bed. In my opinion, I didn't think I was doing justice in terms of providing the time that my kids needed to be able to see me, groom them into young men and women of the future generation. So for me, the urgency was now. And so I did go into IT, information technology, which, if you ask my personal opinion, happens to be the fattest cake out there.
Absolutely.
And a lot of people are generalizing IT and would like to understand exactly what are some of the intricacies or careers that are within the IT. And that is where us at Icon IT, as mentors, we are able to guide them through following just their background stories and guiding them to whatever IT career would be the best fit for them. So I certainly do take pride in that. I'm an Oracle database administrator, an avid technology evangelist, a mentor for everyone within our community. And I, over the last, 3 to 4 years at Icon IT, we've been able to transform a lot of people into the IT technology sector. And I'm sure in the course of the program, we would be able to go into a little more detail.
Absolutely, Mr. Mofor. And it's certainly a great pleasure just learning a little bit about, that journey, because for most of us who came to America from different parts of the world, right, as immigrants, there is one goal in our hearts. We want it better for us, but not only for us, but for the people who come after us. That is the primary goal, right? And when I hear your story, I realize that IT was a part that gave you a chance to be able to put some guarantees on that, right? To be able to ensure that not only your children, but their children's children. In addition, probably too, if you're like most immigrants, your cousins have come, you've helped them, friends have come, friends of friends. So there is a big village community that has benefited from your single action and your single decision to move into the space, right? That makes it incredible. Now, I'll just ask you, from your experience, from your journey, right? And in addition to that, you also don't only work in the industry, but you also serve as the chief technology officer of a consulting company called Icon IT, right? There are a lot of people now watching you and asking themselves, oh, I am 20. Is this going to work for me? I am 35. I'm in the middle of a career that I hate. Is this going to work for me? I am 45, like Mr. Achu speaking right now, right? With a bald head and a rough chin, right? I've been doing 20 years of the work I do right now. Is there a way I can get into IT? What will you say to those people?
Again, they say sometimes better late than never, right? But that's just an adage. Let me put this into perspective. An average human being works for about 40 to 45 years of their lifetime. Now, if you are 40, I would assume maybe in the interest of just keeping it simple, you started working at 20, and that's 20 years in. There is a better part of your work life still ahead of you. So you still have about 25 years ahead of you. Now,
and that's for somebody who is 40. So that somebody who is like in their 20s, they have 40 years.
They have 40 years.
So you're saying they can do 40 years in the IT industry, making 6 figures averagely every year.
And it's crazy when you think of it.
Wow, okay.
It's crazy when you think of it. Now, let's work on a scenario where someone who's watching this more than likely might be someone who has a bit of a desire, has done something for a while, and is now at a crossroad where they want to make a change to something. And they're trying to look for that thing. What is it that I need to do? I've heard a lot about IT. What within IT that I need to do? Let me just put some things into perspective and some numbers into perspective, just to give us a little bit of a framework to work with. So, according to World Population Review, the median household income in the United States happens to be somewhere between $40,000 and $60,000. Now, that varies with the state in which you are. But certainly where I live in Minnesota, for example, the median household income is $71,000, a little above $71,000. In Texas, it is about $61,000 on the high side. Somewhere in New York is about $68,000. That is the median household income. Now, when you compare that with the median salary or wage or what an IT professional makes in a year, that number ranges between 120,000 to 140,000, depending on what they're doing and, of course, their years of experience. Now, you have 25 more years if you're 40 years old. Are you willing to continue working? Let's assume you're on the median income of $70,000. Are you willing to continue working at $70,000 for the rest of your working life, which is 25 more years? Or are you willing to put some work in place and be able to take your head up maybe 6 months down the line, and you are bestowed with the skills that you need in order to command $120,000 to $140,000 for the rest of your working life. And I think for me, if you put the number together, it's a no-brainer.
Fantastic, fantastic. I'm glad to hear that. Yes, absolutely. And you know, the reason why I asked that is because, you know, where we are right now in our lives, right? Some of the opportunities I believe people like you in your generation now in the IT industry are seeing, you wish you saw this 20 years ago. You wish you saw this, you had this 14 years ago when you came to America as a young man. You know, I've been in the industry 10 years, and I always ask myself, I joined the industry at the age of 35. I'm 45 years old today. And each time I ask myself, I say, what if somebody told me about this 10 years before? At the age of 25, I came into the industry and I started working as an IT professional at that time. 20 years after, where would I have been today? Most likely I'll be knocking shoulders with the Bill Gates of this world and trying to challenge them
Yeah, that's
with
right.
some company, right?
Yeah, that's right.
So I'm listening here and I'm listening to you talk, and it just is occurring to me what a privilege it is for the people listening to this kind of information. And the interesting thing is that, of course, if you want a little bit more information, we have possibilities where you can just there's a link on the screen. You can click that link, go ahead, book a one-on-one free 15 minutes appointment, and we'll be able to just guide you a little bit as to what direction in IT might make sense for you, right? But back to Mr. Mofo here. So Mr. Mofo, tell me a little bit, right? Where do the opportunities lie in the IT industry? You know, the IT industry is a huge industry, right? I know there are people on the line right now asking themselves, what are some of the programs that I can take to position me for this kind of success, for this kind of growth, to position me in a place to join the 8% of America that makes 6 figures and above?
So basically, when we are looking at trends right now, and we're looking at technology, we're looking at the society, we're putting all of this into perspective, and we're looking at where is everything going, right? Even in non-IT related jobs, you are using IT as a working tool. So certainly, the lifeblood of every company happens to be data, right? And the platforms on which that data is being stored. So the opportunities therefore lie with IT careers that happen to do with how you manage that data. By that, I mean things like database administration. By that, I mean things like data scientist or data science, put it broadly. By that, I mean platforms on which, you know, databases and other pieces of infrastructure are being hosted. We are leaving from the traditional on-prem data centers and moving into clouds. So cloud technologies, platforms that teach cloud technologies, and are kind of really, really, you know, big right now. Those are where the opportunities lie. And fortunately, you do have to have a certain piece of project coordination and engagement that has to happen within the company, where you have engagement managers or Scrum Masters or project managers that drive these teams to be able to deliver on the deliverables that, you know, they're called upon to deliver on. So fortunately, here at Icon IT, we happen to be an institution as much as a consulting company. We provide training in all of those aspects. We do provide database administration training, of course. We do provide cloud technology training.
Like AWS?
AWS,
okay.
AWS Solutions Architect, as well as AWS technology developer training.
DevOps,
right? So what they popularly call AWS DevOps, right? So that's the other arm of AWS training. And certainly, when you look at it in terms of investment and return on investment, the prices, of course, that we charge for these are really, you know, I would say laughable, because if you ask my opinion, if you ask me that, give me X amount of dollars, and I would 100 times that amount of dollars in a year. That's kind of what I used to compare what we charge for these trainings and what, you know, the students do make when they get done with the training. So again, I encourage people, that is where the cake is really big. data science, anything that has to do with data and automation, database administration, cloud technologies. We offer AWS, and of course the other cloud technologies and other cloud platforms. And certainly Scrum Masters who serve as the engagement managers within companies to keep everything together and ensure that these deliverables are done on time.
Wonderful, Mr. Mofor. Wonderful. That's interesting. So just listening to you talk about this with so much passion, right? Talking about this with so much conviction. And I understand that you are not just talking because you are on a live platform talking. You're talking because you've seen it work, but you didn't only see it work, but you also have helped a lot of other people, see it work. And by the way, if you're online with us, we're very, very happy to have you. Go ahead and please subscribe to our channel. If you're on YouTube, if you're on Facebook, join our community so you can get updates of what is happening, right? There's also a link on the screen if you are interested in just getting a little bit of guidance as to what direction in IT you can pursue in order to position yourself for better for now and the future. Click that link. It's free, just 4 clicks. You fill your name, your information, you choose a time on the calendar, and we will give you a one-on-one call. We'll be able to talk to you, 15 minutes free consulting, just to advise you exactly in what direction to go, right? But Mr. Mofor, coming back to you, when I hear you talk with so much passion, I watch and I just sit here and I listen, and I go, wow. So I'm a guy thinking here, what is the future of this industry? Is this going to last? Is this going to be around for a while? Should I really be thinking about leaving what I'm doing and then moving over here? And in the next 5, 6, 7 years, maybe I'm starting to find myself out of a job. And I'm thinking, what is your take on that as a CTO, as somebody who trains people, who consults for companies, and who hires people sometimes too?
Well, so not when you say CTO, I don't only work within the limits of Icon IT Consulting.
Absolutely.
So in order to facilitate our delivery for our different programs that we offer. But I do also have the opportunity to interact with high-level executives from different companies. And together we kind of see exactly what the pathway. Now, I'm going to just use an example, right? We all have smartphones. I would want to make an assumption that we all have smartphones. Flashback 10 years back, I don't think the technologies that we have on our hands right now were that way. I do remember when I came over to Minnesota, I used to drive around with a printed MapQuest. And that's not too long ago when you think about it.
Absolutely.
We upgraded to, the Garmins and the TomToms and the GPSs. And now we have, navigation systems, on our hands. This is the amount of data that is being produced. We're talking electric vehicles revolution right now, and we're talking data being produced in the petabytes. Some infrastructure has to be in place in order to manage that data. We're talking about every company going digital, every company going, enhancing investments in their technology and infrastructures, in their delivery. Now, according to the Bureau of Labor Statistics, BLS, employment in computers and information technology occupations are projected to grow 13% from 2020 to 2030, which in all projections happens to be the fastest average for all occupations. So it is not like the cake. We haven't even started eating the cake. If you ask my personal opinion, the opportunities in here are going to keep popping and popping. And they are going to be finding ways and solutions to kind of streamline work processes and deliveries. And all of those things put together will only continue to make this industry grow bigger and bigger. I don't know if that answers your question right on the spot.
No, absolutely it does. Absolutely it does. It does for sure. I think one of the things that you're trying to highlight, which I hear from your response, and I believe, and I hope that's what all our televiewers are hearing, is that the opportunities are plenty.
Yeah.
The opportunities are like it's never been before. I mean, I'll just share a little story with you, Mr. Mofor. I have a young friend of mine, and he had a girlfriend, and they were about having a baby, right? And he invited me to a baby shower. For those who are familiar with that, it's a big event in our community, right? We do something beautiful, a beautiful hall. We have the DJ. It's nice. And, we came for the event. We had a good time. We supported him. So during the event, we're just having a chat, right? And I looked at the shoes, very nice shoes, beautiful Versace for those who like, the fashion, right? Versace
So like
is one
fashion
of the
name brands.
exactly. And he had this golden effigy on it, right? The head of a lion right on the top of it. And I asked him, man, those are very beautiful shoes. How much did you get that for? And he told me he got it for $3,000. So for a second, I was shocked because I was like, no, young man, you're just 28 years old. You can't spend that kind of money getting a pair of shoes, right? And then he looked at me, he noticed on my face, I was a little shocked. He said, big bro, I mean, think about it for a second, right? I work in the IT industry. I have two IT jobs I do. I make about 300,000 a year. I make about $30,000 a month. I could take $3,000 and buy something nice for myself. That is not going to affect my retirement.
I
And
don't
then
think you
it
can be mad at him.
yes, and then it occurred to me that listen, this is life we're talking about here. This is real stuff. This is not video games. We're talking things that are happening. That's why I told myself, I would like to bring people like you to come on the line and talk to people. Let them see this thing for what it really is. Because the opportunity is here. The opportunity is going to last, right? So, Mr. Mofo, you assured us that certainly based on your expectations, based on your experience in the industry, we're going to have this for a while, right? So tell
That's
me a
right.
little bit. One of the things I promised our televiewers bringing them to watch us live today is that we're going to explain to them in a very, very simplistic way how truly this is leveling the IT industry is leveling the playing field. Before now, I have an uncle and my elder cousin who are petroleum engineers, right? My uncle went to a petroleum engineering school in England, right? And my cousin went to the University of Louisiana. And they spent hundreds of thousands of dollars to become petroleum engineers, right? I have people I know, pharmacists, who are doctors, who are engineers, who are English teachers, who are library technicians, and all these people go to colleges, they spend hundreds of thousands, come out with school fees, loans, and then they go get jobs. And then the next thing I know, they're dissatisfied with what they're doing, right? They're earning 60,000, 70 grand. They can't make ends meet. They have more month after the paycheck, right? and so, and so I realized that this opportunity might really be leveling the playing field from the perspective of the cost of doing it, and not only the financial cost, just like you said, but also from the human cost, from the time perspective, from the commitment. How is this opportunity in the IT industry leveling the playing field?
Well, first of all, while you are within that opportunity in itself, there is a place for everybody. I think the most challenging thing that I would want to encourage whoever is viewing today and is on the fence about should I or shouldn't I, find a way to get in. Because while you are in there, there is always going to be an opportunity that is going to accommodate your needs, be it family-wise, financial-wise, or anything-wise. Now, we always talk about time. Time is that one thing that you cannot buy. Time is that one thing that you want to give to everybody that you love. This opportunity levels the playing field in the sense that it provides you time, in addition to providing you financial, I wouldn't say freedom, but financial comfort. And with those things, you will be able to put yourself in a situation where you would have a better quality of life for yourself and for your family. Now, we have several passions. Well, we do understand that you have to be able to financially set your passions, right? Pursue your passions financially and let your passions start working for you at some point. If you want to be that creative, you go for it. But where this levels the playing field, and we at Icon IT were very community centric, in the sense that we're looking at household incomes, like I mentioned to you, median household incomes. We want to drive change. We all know we live in a capitalist, society where you need money to drive change. We want to make our communities better. We are providing an opportunity here at Icon IT and for IT in general to be able so that you can come in, learn a skill in maybe depending on what you're doing, 6 weeks, 12 weeks, you're off and running with a skill that is going to set you up to live among the top 9% of top earners within this country. So leveling the playing field from a financial perspective, from a time perspective, it gives you the opportunity to scale those opportunities and put yourself in a situation where certain things are not going to be issues anymore for you and your community and for your generations to come. This is one of the fastest opportunities that we can use to integrate within corporate America. And that is where the action is. That is where you can make a change. You want to be the change that you are wishing for. This IT opportunity helps you be able to position yourself in a situation where you can drive that change, not only for you, but for your community as well.
Wonderful, wonderful. Thank you. And if you are just joining us, please, you're welcome. If you're on Facebook, if you're on Instagram, if you're on in YouTube, go ahead, subscribe to our channel. We will appreciate that thumbs up. Share our link, share our videos so more people can learn about everything going on. If you've been touched by the information today, you feel like, you know what, I want to learn more. I want to have a one-on-one time to have a chat and understand how I can get involved in this industry. There is a link on the screen. Fill that link. It's just going to take 5 clicks, I promise you. The 5th click, you'll be choosing your time and your date when you want the phone call to be made through to you, so we can have a cost-free 15 minutes appointment to have a conversation, right? So, Mr. Mofor, thank you again very much for all the information you've been giving us, right? You've been sharing with everybody certainly on the line, even though I'm also part of the industry, but I've been learning a lot from you, from the way you do work, from the way you talk about the business, the IT industry, from the way you help people get into this industry, right? And what drives you? Why do you wake up in the morning and want to help people get into the IT industry?
That's an interesting question, and unfortunately, we don't have all day to talk about it. I can share you quite a lot of stuff.
Yeah, I promised 30 minutes. We have another 3 minutes to end the program.
But there is a passion, the community in us. You cannot be great by yourself.
Absolutely.
You cannot be up there by yourself. Otherwise, you're going to be the solution for everyone's problem. What keeps me up at night is I want us to be part of a larger story. I want us to be part of a success story. And it brings us great joy. At Icon IT, it is not for the money we do it for the community. Now, we need the money to keep the lights on, but we do it for the community, because then a community that's stronger together will go places together. So what keeps me up at night is making sure that you see someone at a point of need and you have the tools that you're able to help that person, and you walk that person through that onto the other side of opportunity.
Absolutely.
You become an integral part of that person's story. And that is what we are out here for.
Fantastic. Fantastic. One other thing I would just like to ask you before we start, wrapping up. So for somebody sitting there listening to you talking about the IT industry and all this opportunity, and this person really doesn't have experience with computer, right? This person has really never been around computers as much. Is there still room for this kind of person?
And that's a question I get a lot. When people come to me and are excited about an opportunity they've heard about, and they say, but we really don't know. Do we need to know programming? Do we need to know this? How in-depth do we have to be technical on computers in order to be able to survive this program? And I tell them there is only one ingredient that drives success. And if you're listening to me out there, it is not hope. Hope is not a strategy. You cannot hope. When an opportunity meets preparedness, then you can say, all right, I am lucky enough to get this opportunity. But you have to be prepared. The only ingredient that we need in order to drive success is your determination to make that change. The why. Why are you trying to make a transition? And if your why is powerful enough, you will do everything that you need to do in order to succeed. Now, we teach you everything that you need to know in order to speak to the likes of professionals with 5 to 7 years of experience. We teach you everything that you need to know. If you follow our process, you follow our method, you do the things we ask you to do, and you have that burning desire to be on the other side.
Desire, that's right.
You will succeed. There are
Wonderful.
students, I cannot count names, that have come to me who are not even able to turn the volume on their computers or make any complicated changes on their computers. But we've been able to guide them into an IT career where they're making six figures and they are sustaining. And that's the thing. You have to be able to drive them there, and you have to make sure that when they get there, they are able to sustain while they're there. So
Wonderful.
burning
Good.
desire is all that is needed.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Mufo. It's always a great plumping pleasure just having you on the line, being able to have a chat with you in a light-hearted way. I want to believe that everybody listening to this chat has been learning something. If you believe this has been valuable, type hungry in the chat, please. If you're hungry, you want to get started, you want to know, type hungry, let's know. Right? So, like our videos, share, please subscribe, Mr. Mofo. It was a great pleasure having you today. And any last words for the televiewers?
Televiewers, well, I mean, it's a pleasure. Not every day do I get to sit on a platform like this and try to share with you stories that I hope would motivate, your thinking. Certainly, I hope my testimony and, Mr. Achu's testimony and everyone that you would, encounter on this journey, their testimonies continue to act as a source of inspiration and motivation for you. If you want that change, do not postpone that change. There is the urgency of now. If you are here now, or you're listening to this video, or you're watching this video, that means there is some little voice in you telling you you need to make a change. Listen to that voice. Listen to that voice, and make sure that you engage with us or whoever you think might be able to mentor you through that change. So it has been an honor for me, Mr. Achu. I love your platform. I love the work that you do. Continue to be a source of inspiration to us and our communities.
Absolutely. And before you go, before I let you go, right? One more thing. And I was just listening to you talk, and I just realized, a lot of the conversation and the focus has been on, America. I'm a young man, ambitious. I'm sitting in Ghana. I'm sitting in Cameroon. I'm sitting in Sierra Leone. I'm sitting in Canada. I'm sitting in Singapore, right? How does this apply to me? Is this opportunities that I can leverage, take advantage of, or I'm done, I'm blocked because I'm out of America? Can you talk a little bit about the possibilities that lie in opportunities in the IT industry for people who are out of America, please? Because one of the things which is certain, as everybody might know, right? Africa today has the youngest population in the world, right? Over 60 to, I think about 60, my statistics might not be right, so forgive me, don't quote me on that. But I think somewhere about 60% of the population of Africa, or 70% or so, is under the age of 30 years. That is scary, right? I was watching on the news the other day, about 2 years ago, the founder of Facebook, Mark Zuckerberg, was in Lagos. Google is opening a developer center in Ghana to hire about 60,000 people. Facebook is doing the same. Microsoft have been running there. I know Oracle is launching there. There is something, right? And so when I think about it, I think about some of the things you offer as Icon IT in terms of trainings, in terms of courses, how that can even leverage our brothers and sisters who are back in the continent of Africa or in different parts of the world, our brothers in Australia, wherever you might be. How can that help them? Is this opportunity available to them?
Certainly, this opportunity is available to them because a lot of our trainings are virtual.
Okay.
One of the things that I always, emphasize with our trainings is you can be in the comfort of your living room or your bedroom or wherever you want to be. All you need is a connection, a laptop and a connection, and you are exposed to the trainings that we provide. Now, one of the things that I need everyone to understand is we no longer look at the world as Africa, Europe, the United States, or Asia. It's become global. And that globalization has caused a lot of companies to spread their wings into different opportunities, right? These companies, like you rightly mentioned, the Facebooks, the Googles, they are going to Africa because Africa has one of the best brains. And you would agree with me that the young workforce is hungry and anxious for such an opportunity. So this opportunity happens to be relevant for everyone around the globe. Now, again, I always preach the gospel of preparedness. If you're thinking about it, prepare yourself, because when that opportunity shows up, there is only a short window that you have in order to, to be considered for it. So if this happens to be on your list of things that you want to do, or this conversation happens to inspire you, find a way to start adding value to yourself in the IT space, because these opportunities are coming. It is not slowing down. It is coming fast and furious. And my advice to you is get ready, pick one, study on it, get experience on it, and put yourself in a position to win, so that when that opportunity hits, then you can be the man.
Wonderful, wonderful. So if I just want to, leave our televiewers with something to think about, right? If they're thinking about the IT industry, they should be thinking about courses like a Scrum Master, like Oracle Database Administrator, AWS Solutions Architect, AWS DevOps, and some cloud technologies, correct?
Yes.
Wonderful. Thank you.
Yes.
Thank you. So, Mr. Mofor, it was a great plumping pleasure having you on the platform today. I know I will probably, whenever you have time, I know COVID has started slowing down, so you've been traveling like, an Air France or maybe a Delta Airlines pilot on the air all the time. Your job is carrying you all over the world trying to work, and also you have trainings and things like that. So I hope I'll be able to get you on the line again soon so you can come and reinforce this message to everybody. Thank you so very much for coming, and we appreciate your time and we appreciate you joining us.
Thank you very much. It was my pleasure.
Yes,
Thank you.
yes, good. So, dear televiewers, you've heard for yourself, right? And we just want to thank you for hanging in with us. I know I went beyond 30 minutes, but I believe you will certainly appreciate the information you've had for that time, right? And if you like what you see, you like what you've been on today, please go ahead, subscribe to our channels on Facebook, on Instagram, subscribe to our YouTube channel, please, and make sure you can click on that bell, so that way whenever we have new videos, you'll be able to get notifications for that. Share this with your friends and family. Invite your friends and family to join us on the next live show, which will be sometime next week, I believe on Tuesday, and we're going to send information out. If you're on Facebook, join our Facebook community. That way you can get information constantly about what is happening in the industry and how you can take advantage. Right? But the one thing I'll leave with you is always remember, the best time to have planted a tree was yesterday. The next best time to have planted that tree is today. It doesn't matter where you are with your life right now, whether you're in your 20s, you're in your 30s, you're in your 40s, like some of us, even in your 50s, the opportunity is there for you. The average pay rate in most IT jobs is $120,000. You make $120,000 a year, you work for 10 years, it's $1.2 million. Let's talk numbers now, right? So we are talking here about serious stuff. We are living in a time today when about 60 to 70% of IT staff work remotely, right? Which means you work from the comfort of your own home. We are living in times today when the demand for IT staff outweighs the availability, the supply for IT staff by 1 to 2. What that means is that for every 2 IT jobs, for every 2 IT jobs available, there's only one person who is capable of able to fill that. That creates a new opportunity. It creates an opportunity now where in the IT industry it's no longer a secret that people can have multiple jobs. And when you have multiple jobs, that means multiple streams of income. And if one average is 120, you multiply by 2, you're talking about $240,000 a year, without necessarily having a 4-year program to go through, without paying humongous tuition loans. I just think the IT industry has the greatest return on investment. Let me put it this way. I don't know of any other thing in the world where you can spend maybe $1,500 for a 2 months course and you come out making $120,000. That is less than 2% of your first year income that you invest in that particular program. I'm just giving an example, right? I really believe the return on investment on IT courses in the IT industry far outpaces any other business that I know. And I've done a lot of businesses. I read a lot about businesses. I deal with a lot of business people. There are very rare businesses that have that level of return on investment. So if you're sitting listening to us today and you're thinking about what to do, go ahead, just book an appointment with the link on the screen, and we'll give you a one-on-one, no commitment, free call. You don't have to do anything. You don't have to commit to anything. You don't have to buy anything. You don't have to promise anything. If you just want to understand a little bit more what this industry has as promise, what is available in this industry for you, just book an appointment. We'll give you a call and we'll talk to you exactly about what the opportunities lie. I appreciate each and every one of you taking the time to join us on the platform today. I pray that as you go home, you just let your heart speak, because our goal today was to go past your minds and get straight into your heart, because that's where your true desire lies. That's where what you really are, what you really aspire to become really lies. So I will always end with something very, very special to me. Go out there, be well, be blessed, and please never stop being a blessing to somebody. Have a good day wherever you are in the globe, and we'll talk to you again next time. Bye for now.